plans for spring 2022. It seems like it's really drug out the last few hundred acres. This timber soil was really giving us some fits. It really just takes a long time to dry out and warm up, and especially since last fall we didn't get it worked. It was really taking its time, but we finally got to it. Well, I got that 20 acres planted. That's pretty much all of our corn. We've got 60 acres left on a farm that we call Yellowhammer. And we don't really know why that area is called Yellowhammer other than when it rains and turns dry. For one, that soil is kind of yellow. And when it rains and turns hot and dry, it turns hard as a hammer. I don't know if that's what that means or not, but 60 acres split up into 4 fields, so we worked it a couple days ago. It was plenty wet. Who knows? We may try to work it here tomorrow and plant it. We'll see what the rain does this weekend, but I really like that rear view camera. What the heck is that thing? What the heck was that? It's green and yellow. Ugh. See what I mean? Yellowhammer. It's more like red hammer, or that part of the field over there would be white hammer. This is some light soil. The Embraw River is about not even a mile, 3/4 of a mile, just right over there. So it's a very scenic area. This is the last field of corn that we've got. Well, take that back. We've got 10 acres of silage corn that we'll probably plant it next week. We like to plant it a little later. So we worked this ground probably 3 or 4 days ago, and it was too wet then. That's just how this ground is. Probably could have waited a day on it, but my dad starts getting a little impatient, and so do I. So we opened it up, and you can't plant it right after you work it just because it's heavy and it's wet. We left it lay. There was a chance of rain here the last couple days, but what do you know, the weathermen, they've been spot on wrong this year. So it did not rain, which we didn't think it was going to, but I've got the depth a little deeper. We normally never plant this type of ground this deep, but I've got it on one of the deeper settings. I've got my road cleaners, you can't see those very well. I've got them turned down fairly aggressive because the top 1 inch or 1.5 inches is just dried up small clods. Hopefully it'll come up. Welcome back, everyone. We are finally doing some corn spraying. This is our second day doing it. We didn't have much time to film yesterday, trying to get everything set up, ready to go. Trying to use my GPS, but on this sprayer we have a lower accuracy, so it's kind of having a hard time having repeatability, which meaning it needs to come back on the next swath over exactly right where it needs to be. If we're not spraying in crop, you know, if it's off a couple inches, it's no big deal, but when you're running in between the rows, it has to be exact, or else you end up running over crop. So I might have to end up driving, I'm not really for sure, or I can bump my auto steer over as I go. Let's get out here and I'll check the depth. These things are just like golf balls, and they're hard as a brick. It's because it was worked wet, but that's about what you have to do. That's why we like to do tillage in the fall, because it'll dry out much better. If you don't work it, especially this ground, it won't dry out. Got the road cleaner set. Pretty aggressive. For our nitrogen, we spread what's called ESN. It's encapsulated urea. Let me get a little one here, I'll show you. See that? That's a little bit of urea with a polymer coating. So as it rains, or if it rains, any moisture will break down that coating slowly, and it's just kind of a slow release nitrogen. It works really well, especially on lighter soil, but it is expensive. Check the depth here. See, there's moisture there, which is good. I'm guessing here it's probably going to be a little on the deep side. Oh, right there's one. That's perfect, actually. That's perfect. Now, if this ground would get a heavy rain on it, you can probably kiss it goodbye coming up, unless it stays wet. Because this ground, like I said, gets hard. There's another one. That depth is perfect, and I've got it on the deeper setting too, so we're going to leave it there. There's going to be places where it's too deep. There's going to be places where it's too shallow. Let's see if I can find another one. Should be about, I'm planting 33,000 on this lighter ground, which is probably a touch heavy, but it's okay. Should be about 6.5 inch spacing here. Look at that right there. Right there. Right there. Right there. That planter is one sweet rig. I really, really like it. There's about 1.5 inches of just dry fluff. If I didn't have my road cleaners, I'd be in trouble. So I'm setting my road cleaners, as you can see, to pitch all this stuff up out of the way and get down to moisture soil. So there's moisture right there. So road cleaners are doing a really, really nice job. That's good. There's some light dirt out here. Trees on 3 sides of you. That's okay. Try our best. Last little patch of this 60 acres. I think there's 18 acres here. My wife and kids dropped off my lunch. Bless her soul. She is 6 months pregnant right now with our 4th, and she continues to bring meals out. So there's corn stalks 2 years ago, which we would have chiseled it in the fall. Looks like I found one of our chisel points. It's in good shape other than that, so I won't be able to reuse it, unfortunately. Must have hit a big rock under here. Some of the things you find in the field are pretty amazing. Old chain links, old horseshoes. Makes you wonder how long ago the old timers lost those things. Almost done. About 3 acres left. Well, just like that, planting 2022 is unofficially complete. Well, different vehicle. Kind of a circus today. Done planting corn other than, like I said, 10 acres of silage. We got quite a few acres of beans in that need to be sprayed, so I'm freed up and Jonathan's freed up. So we're gonna do a little spraying. I'll be cameraman. Is that all right?
I'll be Dr. Navario.
Dr. Navario. All righty. I'm not gonna touch any of this because I don't have my gloves on. What we're doing is we just planted these beans this morning, and so we're spraying a pre-emerge. It's called Matador, and what a pre-emerge does is basically creates a layer on top of the soil, and any rain that we get will activate that and keep weeds subsided before the beans get, you know, 5, 6, 7 inches tall, 8 inches tall before we spray our post pass. This is some more pretty rough ground that we farm. Last field was 60 acres and 4 fields. This is 38 acres and 8 fields. At my age, I take whatever I can get. I love to farm, and that's what you gotta do, take what you can get. So this was pretty dry here. We'll dig some up and check. I don't know if these got into the moisture or not. If they didn't, they'll sit here in dry dirt until it rains. It's pretty, oh, there's a couple right there. There's a little bit of moisture there, look at that. These were planted just a couple hours ago. The soil's warm to the touch. If you can see that soybean, that's swelled up probably 1.5 times its size of when we put it in the planter this morning, which is a good thing. That is, that's the first step in germination. Those little guys, I think, are gonna be okay, which is good. I'm tanker driver today. I honestly don't know much about driving that sprayer, so Matthew Jonathan do a good job. Hey, don't hit anything.
The only thing I'm gonna be hitting on is girls.
Oh. Let me show you this sweet little thing I bought the other day. John Deere. Yes, I bought a John Deere. There's nothing wrong with John Deere. They're good. It's a 7100, 3-point hitch, 6-row. It's in really good shape. There's a company up in Alexander, Illinois, J.O. Harris Sales. I didn't buy it from them, but they build these planters. They build 2, 3, 4, 6-row, maybe even 8-row planters. Really handy. I was wanting a 3-point one. It's gonna be pretty sweet. We got some stuff we're gonna jump in with it, so I gotta get that off the trailer tonight and get these tillage tractors moved in here. We don't like to keep things sitting outside in the sun more than we have to, so plus there's a chance of rain tonight. It's gonna be all for this video. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.